Hi everyone, welcome back to Go Local Live. I'm Go Local News editor Kate Nagel. Thanks for sticking with us this Friday afternoon here as we kick off the weekend almost. Would like to thank Ray Rickman, Bob Whitcomb, and Morgan Greff for coming on, and also my final guest, Matthew Doc Perry with the Currahee Project. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you very much for having me.
I appreciate your coming in to talk about the project, to talk about an exhibit taking place this Sunday at the Veterans Home in Bristol. And Currahee, the Native American term for We Stand Together, standing against veteran homelessness and for suicide awareness. So tell us a little bit about yourself and coming up with the Currahee Project.
Well, again, thank you very much for having us as your guest. My name is Matthew Doc Perry. I actually served as a medic in the Fleet Marine Force, and I served in the most highly decorated company and the most highly decorated battalion in the Marine Corps. Unfortunately, in the past year, today actually at 11:10 this morning was a one-year anniversary of the first of 4 suicides that we suffered in my company in one year. Shortly after the election, I was approached by several individuals that said there's no real conservative outreach program on a legislative level. Will you look into that? And that morphed into not just legislative awareness, but also suicide awareness and getting involved in veterans homelessness and eradicating it in the state of Rhode Island. And that's something that as a member of a team of people in Rhode Island that we're going to be able to do.
And this coming Sunday at that new Veterans Home in Bristol, Scott Lobido will have an art exhibit, again bringing awareness to veteran suicide. So tell us a little bit about getting Scott to come here to Rhode Island, his artwork, and sort of what Sunday means and the bigger picture of letting folks know, again, bringing this to awareness.
Absolutely. It was very serendipitous the way Scott and I came into contact. I became aware of the 2213 traveling art exhibit just a couple months after it had started, and at that time I'd already lost 3 of my Marines at that stage. And I sent him a very nice message saying, thank you so much for what you're doing to bring attention to this crisis that we're having within the veterans community. When you come to Rhode Island, not only will I be there to see the exhibit, but if there's anything you need, please reach out. And he reached out about 3 months later. I thought he was just too busy with his messages, and it turns out he couldn't find anybody in Rhode Island to help him out. So the Currahee Project was just starting out. We're still just starting out. We just opened our second office today, or signed a lease on that. But anyway, we're just starting out, and Scott reached out to us. I happen to be good friends with General Rick Backus, who runs the Rhode Island Veterans Home, and he was more than happy to give the space for the event and also for the exhibit itself for 2 nights. And Kasim Yarn, who's the Rhode Island Director of Veterans Affairs, was very much on board and helped to secure the facility for us.
So tell us a little bit your vision and what we can expect from the Currahee Project moving forward, again, with this mission to combat veteran homelessness and for suicide awareness.
Well, specifically with veterans homelessness, Rhode Island could very easily be the first state in the union to actually eradicate veterans homelessness. We're in the top 10 percentile for having the lowest veterans homelessness in the country. It's gone up a little bit over the past year, but we're still in the top 10%. And some people would sit back and say, oh, well, that's great. Well, to me, now's the time for a full court press. Now's the time to really make Rhode Island the first state to do it. There are 9 cities in the union that have been able to boast this statistic of eradicating veterans homelessness and utilizing one or a culmination of all of them. There are 9 different successful models for this. And with it being such a small state and the great team that we have together that's already built long before the Currahee Project got here, it is very, very possible that we can eradicate veterans homeless sooner, much rather than later, and be a model for the country.
Now, you talked at the beginning about looking to impact change at the state level and specifically legislatively at the State House. Has there been anything you want to focus on here from the General Assembly, a governor's standpoint, that you're focusing on this year?
Well, again, our continued focus is on the veteran suicide crisis. The VA has convened a suicide prevention committee that we're a part of. We'll continue to be a part of that. Legislatively, generally speaking, veterans issues are very well supported by the legislator. legislation. We have a fully formed board of directors. One of the members is Senator Elaine Morgan, who we're very grateful to have on board. This is a very partisan issue that we're hoping to continue to get support from the legislative body. But right now we're focused on events to bring awareness to the suicide crisis amongst the veterans community. And the one thing that I like to say about veterans homelessness is I know you have a great following, and I know that there are apartment buildings and apartment complexes that have or underutilized units that, as a 501c3, and we're not the only one in the state, we will have our C3 status very shortly. These are all things that if you have to, you can write it off as taxes, but these can all serve as transitional housing units for veterans, and utilizing that, and I don't understand the ins and outs of it, Kate, but I understand that the Armory in Providence has recently been utilized now. They're going to use that for the veterans homeless population in that area, and that's going to help immensely, and hats off to everybody that brought that together. But ultimately, I'd like to see the legislature get on board and maybe getting some of these public buildings that can be converted into transitional housing and get behind some legislation.
Well, I appreciate your taking the time to come up here.
Thank you
Let
for
us
having
know
us.
on a difficult day, and our condolences.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for explaining to folks, introducing yourself. I'm sure we'll feature more on the Currahee project moving forward. But again, this Sunday at the Veterans Home in Bristol, Scott Lobido's exhibit 2213 to raise awareness for veteran suicide. So, Matthew, Doc, Perry, thank you for taking the time to come in. And thank you for watching us here on GoLocal Live. That just about wraps up another week. Of course, check in with GoLocal Prop. Find us on Facebook throughout the weekend. And check back in on Monday when GoLocal CEO Josh Fenton is in for Rhode Island Small Biz Fuel and Business